Can you trust the predictions in the Bible? Is the Bible precise? And is there evidence that the predictions in the Bible have come true? We're exploring the Ancient Book of Deuteronomy to obtain helpful guidelines to aid us in our daily living. In this lesson, we look at the issues of today from the perspective of God predicting the precise time the Israelites would enter the promised land. Looking back on Moses leading the people of God in the wilderness and looking forward to our day and even the future, our key text reminds us that the Lord Jesus Christ was leading his people through Moses. And as we with Moses, if we're willing, he will lead us today and even into the future. Thus, demonstrating Christ's leading then and now, our key text is found in 1 Corinthians 10, 3 and 4. And it says, "And they all ate the same spiritual food and all drank the same spiritual drink, for they drank of the spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ." The title for this lesson is Fulfilled Prophecy. Despite misinformation from modern science, such as our universe came from absolutely nothing, or that all life on Earth arose by chance, all science is not bad. Science has given us some great insights into God's creative power. Science reveals the harmony, the balance, and the precision in the natural world. And even in its fallen state, scholars who study the natural world are amazed at what they see and find. Now, if God can be so precise with physical things, it would stand to reason that he would be just as precise with spiritual things, right? Hence, continuing our study of Deuteronomy, in its opening verse, we can see more of God's incredible precision. In Deuteronomy 1 through 6 is the command for Israel to enter Canaan. I'm reading from the clear word. Here is what happened. These are the words Moses spoke to the children of Israel shortly before he died, while they were on the east side of the Jordan River, ready to cross over into Canaan. Their camp was located near Soph between Paran on one side and Tophel, Laban, and Hazareth, and Dezahab on the other side. It would have taken them only 11 days to go from Sinai to Kadesh Barnea on the road around the southern border of Canaan. Now notice verse 3. It lets us know how long it has been since the Israelites had been released from slavery and why it has taken so long for them to get to their destination. It says, "But now it has been 40 years since they have left Egypt because they had rebelled against the Lord." So on the first day of the 11th month in the last year of their journey, Moses spoke to them one final time. 40 years. But normally it would take 11 days to travel from Sinai to Kadesh Barnea. Why did it take so long? One word: rebellion. So 40 years later, they are about to possess the land God has promised them. Verse 4. This was after he had defeated Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who had ruled from Heshbon, and Og, the king of Bashan, who had ruled from Ashtoreth to Edrei. It was here on the plain of Moab that Moses explained to the children of Israel the laws and teachings of God. He began by recalling their history as follows. After camping at the foot of Mount Sinai for almost a year, the Lord our God said to us, "You have been at the foot of this mountain long enough." And looking back at Deuteronomy 1:3, we find that there are some prophetic significance in that it refers to the 40th year. Here's why the 40th year is important. Previously, Moses had sent spies from Kadesh Barnea to check out the land, and the people refused to obey the command to take the land. So what happened? They were told that they would not enter the promised land as they had hoped. Referring to God's preciseness, how long would they wait before entering? We find the answer in Numbers 14:34, which says, "According to the number of the days in which you spied out the land, 40 days, for each day you shall bear your guilt 1 year, namely 40 years, you shall know my rejection." Note that they had been given the assignment to spy out the land to determine how to overtake it, but instead they decided it was too dangerous to enter, so they rebelled against God's command to take possession of the land. From the time that they refused to take possession of the land to Deuteronomy 1:3 that we have read was exactly 40 years. Hence, right on time, Deuteronomy takes up the story of God's people in the 40th year, exactly as God has told them. In other words, God's prophetic word is as trustworthy as God himself. And what we see here is in the opening verse of Deuteronomy is more evidence of his trustworthiness. That is, God will do what he says he will do, and he will do it when he says he will do it. Now, this isn't the only prophetic period that was fulfilled as God had said. Daniel 9:24-27, for instance, predict the time for Jesus' mission. It happened just as the Lord said. Check it out for yourself. With a brief check of history, it's easy to determine that the time specified in Daniel 7:25 has already happened exactly as been predicted. Furthermore, if you look at Revelation 12:6 and 14 and Revelation 13:5, you will find that these prophecies, though at the time written, projected into the future, when we examine them today, these prophecies have already happened. Thus, they are history. Moreover, with further review of history, you will find that the prophecy of Daniel 8:14 has also happened. Further study also shows that besides the precise time element, the prophecies of Daniel 2:7 and 8 precisely and accurately predicted world history. The prophecies of the Bible have given us overwhelming evidence of God's knowledge, control, and trustworthiness. Therefore, it's evident that the Lord faithfully fulfilled these past prophecies just as predicted. If he has done it in the past, we can be sure that we can trust him on the things he has said will happen in the future, even up to our day and beyond. After 40 years in the wilderness, the Israelite population significantly increased. How did Moses manage to keep order among so many people? Find out in the next lesson, part 3, 1,000 times more numerous.